10, several areas across the valley at a complete loss after flood damage. Insurance not covering a dime. Some Utahns now looking to FEMA for help with no luck. We're taking a look at what it would take for FEMA to provide assistance. Plus,
we are handing out meals to those in need.
Real Salt Lake and Utah Royals teaming up with the organization Thanksgiving Heroes today in an effort to make sure families do not go hungry. And an update on the charges against Alec Baldwin stemming from that fatal on-set shooting on the movie Rust back in 2021.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Welcome to the ABC4 News at 10 o'clock. I'm Emily Flores.
And I'm Glenn Mills. Thanks so much for joining us. While local leaders say Utah's response to the flood so far has been a success, many homeowners have a different story, saying they've lost everything. Some were told they could get assistance from FEMA because of the governor's emergency declaration. But as ABC4's Courtney Johns reports, that's not the case. She's live in studio to explain. Courtney.
Yeah, Glenn, the outside of this Draper neighborhood, you wouldn't even know it's flooding. But for the people who have basements in this area, some of them have seen it flood several times.
We had professionals come out and they've even told us there's nothing we can do to prevent the flooding. The ground is saturated 6 to 8 feet deep, and we just pretty much have to deal with all the flooding that's happening right now and hope for the best.
The woman we spoke with says her basement actually used to be her mother's apartment, and now, as you can see right there, it's completely gutted. She says she thought her homeowner's insurance would cover something like this, but as we have been reporting for months now, that's not the case. You have to get separate flood insurance. Another misconception we've been hearing is that Governor Cox's state of emergency means FEMA will cover the damage of these homes. That's not true. In order for that to happen, the president would have to issue an emergency declaration for Utah, and even then, may not happen. From there, FEMA can issue 2 types of grants, public and individual assistance grants. Now, these individual assistance grants could potentially cover damages to homes, but we would need to see significant, widespread damage across the state in order to receive this type of funding. And another thing to keep in mind with that funding from FEMA, if it were to happen, they don't give you money to restore your home to the condition it was in. Their job is to provide enough to make your home livable or provide temporary housing, which is why we are again reminding everyone that your homeowners, your renters insurance does not cover flood damage. And depending on the policy that you do purchase, it can take up to 30 days for that flood insurance to activate. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Courtney. Some insightful information there. Time now for a first look at the forecast.
Chief Meteorologist Lana Brophy tracking some storms for us tonight.
Oh, yeah, we've got a storm system that's going to close out our work week in the northern portion of the state, but high pressure tried to set up. Let's take a look at the satellite radar, and you can see in the last few hours that area of high pressure sliding over to the east with cloud cover increasing in northern Utah as we head into the overnight. Central and southern Utah staying clear, which will allow for pretty chilly temperatures. And speaking of chilly, it was a cold one this morning. Judy catching the icicles down there in Kanab. Temperatures bottomed out at 28, and lows throughout the state were cold. We saw a lot of 30s, and we're going to repeat that as we head into tonight. There were teens in Evanston and Vernal and Price, but temperatures stayed below average today, and even right now we've got 30s and 40s out there. 44 in Salt Lake, 41 in Provo, 30s in Logan, and 60s in St. George. We even topped out below average, and we're going to see that trend holding on as we head into tomorrow. It's going to get so chilly into tonight that we've got freeze warnings in effect for portions of the Beehive State. That includes portions of Grand County as well as San Juan County, so the Four Corners areas. Those temperatures will yet again be dropping into the mid-20s. Okay, sensitive vegetation, if you've already planted in these spots, needs to be covered up because we are going to get cold. We also have wet weather on the way. I'm going to show you the timing and how much to expect coming up in my full forecast in just a few moments. Glenn, Emily, over to you.
All right, thank you, Alana. Well, it's hard to miss the potholes popping up along roadways right now. UDOT saying they see them too. After a winter filled with plowing the roads, UDOT's attention is now on those pesky potholes. The cold, the moisture, and a longer snow season all creating the combination for the rise in potholes this year. Some trouble spots have been the I-80 and I-215 bridge decks, which UDOT crews are working to repair, they say. They want drivers to rest assured that fixing potholes is a priority, and it's all to make sure to keep everyone safe.
This year's been a record year for the amount of water. We've had cold weather on top of that, that is the worst possible scenario for potholing. No surprise, we see them everywhere. So that's been the unique challenge this year, has been the amount of moisture that we've got.
All right, if you do see potholes on your drive, you can report them through UDOT's Click and Fix app.
New at 10, after that winter that seemed like it would just never end, things are finally starting to thaw out, exposing some issues. The Park City Museum Committee, Friends of Ski Mountain Mining History, just now uncovering the damage the snowpack did on the historical Thanes Hoist House mine. They were alerted by Ski Patrol 2 weeks ago of the collapse. Tonight, they are still dealing with some unanswered questions.
We have no idea how bad it is until right now there's like 12 feet of snow there on the ground. So we have to wait till the snow melts until we have any idea what we do next.
This collapse comes on the heels of the committee having already raised $1.3 million to restore the Thanes Hoist House, which is one of 7 buildings the group had plans to restore.
And a woman in Roy is pleading for help. She's in search for a new kidney tonight. Liz Garcia was diagnosed with polycystic kidneys in 2008. She's now feeling the effects of this disease, and it's a disease that's plagued her family for generations, she says. Her own mother getting a transplant back in 2001. Well, polycystic kidney disease is a genetic disorder where cysts grow on the kidneys, causing them to fail. And with the uncertainty of being on a transplant list, Liz is now turning to the public for help by listing her need for a donation on her own car.
You know, it's getting down to the where I really don't want to live on dialysis forever. So I made some shirts and I just was like, I'm going to get magnets and put them on my car. And so we started putting them on the car.
Okay, well, in the week that Liz has had her information on her vehicle, she's already had one person reach out, but unfortunately, it was not a match. Liz goes in for surgery tomorrow to get both of her kidneys removed and then will remain on dialysis until she can get a new kidney. So if you're interested in helping Liz, you can head to our website, abc4.com, and search for this story.
A film screening in Lehigh tonight, hoping to raise money for Dragonfly Farm on the Navajo Nation. The event featuring the film Gather, a documentary about Indigenous people battling the trauma of centuries of genocide with a reconnection to their cultural foods. A director of the project and a coordinator of the farm sharing more on the film and the importance of how they feed their community.
This film is about food sovereignty within Indigenous communities. It's an important topic for many of us who don't have access to fresh food in our communities. We rely on heavily processed and shelf-stable foods.
At Dragonfly Farms, we grow food to feed the community, and we are also growing not only food, but nutritionally dense and nutritionally fulfilling food for our community at no cost.
And they're able to do that without water through an indigenous method called dry land farming, relying on seasonal rains and praying over seeds. Gather is available to stream on Netflix. To learn more about the film, farm, and other projects, you can visit that website right there on the screen.
Okay, also new at 10, Real Salt Lake players, staff, and Utah Royals FC new head coach Amy Rodriguez participating in Thanksgiving Heroes Spring Giving event today. The team preparing 300 meal kits for families in need. Then volunteers stocked their vehicles with the food and delivered them to families in the Jordan School District. Head coach Amy Rodriguez saying the team is there to give back to the community that has given them so much.
I find it so exciting. Obviously, I loved being here. The city is wonderful and gave me so much as a player. So, like I mentioned earlier, just being able to give back now in this role, I find it very rewarding, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, Real Salt Lake players Marcelo Silva, Diego Luna, and Zach McMath also in attendance today. So for more information on Thanksgiving Heroes Utah and their efforts on making sure families don't go hungry, you can visit the website you see there at the bottom of your screen. Coming up in sports, we will hear more from Amy Rodriguez with ABC4's Dana Green.
Coming up, U.S. lawmakers passing a bill today that would prohibit transgender athletes from participating in women's and girls' sports in certain schools.
And we'll have an update on the charges against actor Alec Baldwin following that deadly shooting on the set of the movie Rust back in 2021.
And we had a few isolated showers out there producing graupel. It's those soft ice pellets. We saw it throughout portions of the Wasatch Front. We're now tracking our next storm and how it's going to impact the end of your work week in Utah's most accurate forecast.
And a reminder,